Okay, it's time for a little solo adventure today. It's been too long. Here's a quick outfit of the day. Got this from Goodwill a couple years ago. These shorts are from 4days.com. And I just got these shoes. I'll see you later, okay? Okay, I just filled up my car. I've got water. I've got tea from home. Just shared my location with my dad on Google Maps. It's a little after 7 and I really wanted to be on the highway at like 6:30. I guess I'm still doing okay. So I just left the gas station and I'm headed to the highway. Well, I'm in California for the first time in my life. I wish I could set up a better filming angle in my car, but I can't. My first thought when I crossed the state line was, wow, it's so nice to just see normal painted lines on the roads instead of those stupid reflectors that Vegas has. Every time you change lanes there, it's like driving over the rumble strip. So the reason I moved to Vegas in 2020 was actually because I couldn't afford California. So like so many other people, I went to Vegas instead. That was at the end of 2020 and rent was of course still really high in California, but it wasn't like it is now and I was gonna try to do it. But it's not just the rent, it's other stuff too, like for example the income requirements at apartment complexes. Every place I've lived in, the income requirement, the monthly income requirement has been 2.5 times the rent. And I always barely scrape past that with my full-time job and side jobs. And when I was talking to a few different apartment complexes in California at the time, their income requirement was 3.5 times the rent. So that really wasn't going to happen unless I lived somewhere kind of crappy or lived with roommates, neither of which I want to do. I'm somebody who has always prioritized paying as much rent as I can, basically, because it's just really important to me to have a home that I like and am comfortable in. That means not having roommates and also having a washer and dryer in the unit. And that's like the dividing line between more affordable and less affordable, it seems like, with apartments, is whether or not it has a washer and dryer in the apartment. And I've lived without it before. I've lived in a place that had a laundry room downstairs that I had to use quarters for. And it fucking sucks. So the reason I planned this day trip to Riverside is because it's closer than going to like San Diego or something. That would be like over 4 hours. And I have to do these things as day trips because I don't travel overnight. I don't leave Chloe. And when I had my other cats, I didn't leave them either. I even feel bad leaving Chloe for like a whole day. I hate doing that. So anyway, I planned this trip because I figured I can do like a 3-hour drive, hang out, go to a few places, and then drive back. So I'm going to Riverside because it's close enough, and also because I can go to one location, park there, walk around to a bunch of different places, and stay within the same few blocks because I'm not going to know where I am. So I don't like to wander around in places that I don't know. So I'm driving to the historic Mission Inn. I'm going to park near there. I'm going to go and walk around the inn. You can like walk around the grounds of the building and stuff and see it. And then I'm going to go to a couple other places nearby, all within the same like couple of blocks. For some reason I felt really nervous about doing this drive, and I don't know why. It's only 3 hours. It's not on some deserted road. There are places and there are a lot of other cars. But yeah, I just felt nervous about doing it for some reason, and I don't really know why, especially considering the drives I've done before. I drove to Las Vegas from Michigan in 3 days by myself with 3 cats in the car, for God's sake. Okay, my ETA is now 1 hour and 39 minutes. Now, it's not like I have some overly idealized vision of California in my head. I know they have a bunch of problems, just like most places. And it's becoming more and more impossible for anyone who's not rich to live here. I mean, like I said, I couldn't even do it 3 years ago. But it's somewhere I've wanted to go for so long, and never having been here was starting to drive me insane, especially now that I've been living right next to it for over 2 years. Right now I'm still on this highway, this kind of no man's land between Vegas and the actual city areas of California. It's really beautiful, and I really like this highway. It's been a really easy drive so far, but I'm interested to see what traffic will actually be like once I hit civilization. It is like not even 9 a.m. on a Saturday though, so it's not like it's a weekday during rush hour. I kind of have to pee at this point, but I'm not stopping. Okay, I know I said I wasn't stopping, but I have to pee, and what if I get stuck in some traffic after this? Besides, how could I not stop at what claims to be California's largest gas station? $5.19. Well, I'm not stopping for gas, just a bathroom. The open road. It feels so alive.
boy, you can tell because they have these bumps right there. And the girls are smooth on top.
When they get stressed out, they scream.
You know how I do.
Yeah, they're very delicate, but you should be okay.
Thing that we're going to do, make some snail bites, but I think we need another little quick fact. I'm going to ask you this: why do mushrooms always get invited to the party? Because he is a fun.
What would life be? Look you just done.
So yesterday turned into quite a day. So here's the other side of what happened yesterday that I didn't show. Basically, within like a minute of walking in my new sandals that I was wearing yesterday, the straps across the top were painfully like rubbing against the skin on the top of my foot. Within like 5 minutes, they had broken the skin. And I was like, okay, there's not really anything I can do about this. I don't have band-aids or anything on me. I drove 3 hours to get here. Like, I'm just gonna suck it up and keep walking around. So it just got worse and worse. And basically I had like open wounds on the top of my feet that were just, had the shoe rubbing against them the whole time, just making them bigger and bigger. And I was just trying to look normal and look like I could walk normally. I was in so much pain by the time I got to the 2 art museums that I was thinking about walking around. When I found out they were both $15 each, first of all, I didn't want to pay for that, but also I wasn't going to pay money and then walk around in pain somewhere for no reason. So basically, right after I had kind of stopped at both of those, found out that they cost money, I was ready to just kind of get back to my car. And at that point too, I kind of thought like, well, I could like try to buy shoes somewhere. And I don't like to buy fast fashion. I don't want to support it. I don't typically buy like clothes or shoes or anything from just any typical store, basically. Everything I buy is usually thrifted or from like an ethical vegan company that I find online. In this situation, it was so bad that I probably would have just tried to buy like whatever shoes. But the thing is, like, there wasn't really anywhere to do that. If there'd been some, like, I don't know, like a Target or something where I could buy like Band-Aids, peroxide, and a pair of sandals and bandage my feet up and keep going, then maybe I would have tried to do that. But I was in this like fancy historic downtown area that didn't have anything like that. And even if I had found a shoe store, it's like, well, I can't just put new shoes on because my feet are just like openly bleeding. So I would have had to like clean them up and bandage them and stuff first anyway. So it's like, even if I was gonna do that and try to go somewhere and buy shoes, I still would have had to get back to my car to go somewhere else to do that. And at that point I was just gonna get back to my car and just go home. So I decided to go back to my car, and I realized that I didn't make a note of which parking structure I parked in. I didn't remember exactly where it was. I had kind of an idea, but there were a lot of parking garages in the area. So I started walking around, again, just shoes cutting deeper into my feet with every step, trying to find the specific parking garage that I hadn't made a note of. And I think it was because when I got there, I just had to pee so badly that that's all I thought about. I didn't like make a mental note of like exactly which garage it was. So, and this is so embarrassing, but I spent, no exaggeration, an hour walking around the same small area of a few blocks trying to figure out which garage I'd parked in. I even like went back to the same ones a couple of times. Like, is this it? I don't know. And I did think to look at the video footage I had shot when I was like just leaving the parking garage to see like what was right outside of it, what I was walking past, and then I could see like exactly where it was. But I couldn't see, it was so bright outside, I couldn't really see my phone screen when I was trying to do that. And I realized later that that was also my own fault because I thought I had the brightness turned all the way up and I didn't. So I think eventually I realized that I didn't have the brightness up. And so I turned it up so I could actually see what I was looking at. I looked at my previous footage again. I saw what building was right next to the garage. And then I managed to find it like that. So I finally got back there. Also couldn't remember what level my car was on, but it didn't take me that long to figure that one out. So I finally get back in my car, and all I have in my car to try to clean my feet up is like my travel thermos with some water still left in it. So I'm sitting in my car in the driver's seat with my feet out the door, just in the parking garage, pouring water from my travel thermos over my bloody feet to try to rinse them off. It was so bad. And so from there, I just drove the 3 hours, 15 minutes or whatever it is, all the way home, barefoot. And when I got home, I just walked from my car up to my apartment barefoot. And then I got in and I just immediately had to clean my feet. The bottom of my feet were like dark gray just from like walking up here from the car. Or maybe they were already dirty when I was wearing the shoes, I don't know. Tried to clean them up, which was really painful. And let me tell you, when I poured peroxide over them... So, obviously I have started the return process on those sandals. I was kind of worried that they'd be like too worn to return since I had walked around a bunch outside in them, but the bottoms actually look pretty good, so I'm just gonna like clean them as well as I can and return them. Because for me, shoes are usually like a slightly bigger purchase that I really think about and have to wait till I can afford. So it's really disappointing, and now I have to ship these back to Portugal. I'm sure I'll probably have to pay return shipping too. So that's the story of yesterday. And I didn't show anything about it or talk about it yesterday while it was happening, I think because, well, one, I was in public and I was just trying to look like nothing was wrong. But even if I had a minute with nobody around, I think I didn't, just because I was so distraught and so like pissed off at myself that I just wasn't, I wasn't gonna vlog about it. At that point, I was just trying to like get through the day. Also, it was so hot. It felt hotter than Vegas. I don't know if there was like higher humidity and that's why or something, but it was only like 89, 90 degrees. It felt like it was over 100. So also this whole time eventually I was just drenched in sweat and my face was all red. I'm just walking around with my feet bleeding. I had that drink at T.O.'s, but I didn't have a drink with me to carry around. It was rough, and I was just mad at myself for like not realizing that the shoes would be a problem sooner. Like before I went on a trip. As far as Riverside itself, at least the small part that I saw, which was just like a few blocks of downtown Riverside near the Mission Inn and stuff, it's not really my vibe. I didn't really consider the fact that it was like a university area too, and that's just not really my thing. The old architecture was really cool. It kind of made me feel like I was back in Oxford for a second. But the whole college area, college town thing just really isn't my vibe. And it sucks. Again, the shoe thing pisses me off, like makes me pissed at myself because there was other stuff I wanted to like do around Riverside. Like there's parks and stuff that I could have checked out, but I just was in like no condition to do anything else after that. So that was my first trip to California. It won't be the last one, but future ones hopefully will not be ruined by my own stupidity. I'm not going to show them, but just know that these band-aids are covering pretty large open wounds.